Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? Metaphysical Mama here. Welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna let a second, because the live on YouTube sometimes takes a second to adjust. I think we should be good. 30 seconds. So what's up, everyone? Happy, what is today? I think it's Thursday. It's December 16th, according to the calendar. So it's a 7-day if we add 1 and 6 together. And it's a 12, right? We're in month 12, according to the Gregorian Julian calendar. So it's a 3-month if we add the 1 and 2. Now you know what to do, right? So we have a 3 and a 6, right? Oh, excuse me, a 7. Today's 16. 7 and a 3, which we have, so 10. Masculine, feminine energy, balance. So we have, I put the, right, the pause. I was guided to put the percent sign over under. So I got lots of channeling. I'll just briefly introduce myself if it's your first time. I just, right, where I'll operate as a channel. I channel energy through spirit. And yeah. Over under. I'm going to go through, right? The positives, the negatives, the gray areas too. Right? We're not prejudiced here about where we're going through. We just go where the energy takes us. So that's kind of how I operate. If you can put yourself in air or water in the mind's eye, right? That's how we fly through and travel through time. So we connect with the stars and the systems and the ancestors and the elders and any other thing that comes through, right? Extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial. It's all vibrations, right? Fairy tales, Grimm's fairy tales, right? My little coffee pot just went psh. So I pulled some cards before I popped on. Also, energy's wild. We're literally going through the birth canal. So we can call it the black hole, right? 0 point. In a computer system, it registers a positive and a negative, right? Black is -1. White is +1, and in the middle there's, right, a 0. But what's that word in hold on a sec, came up the other day. It's like close to 0 but not 0, but the closest thing to 0. So we're going to get into quite a lot of stuff. I don't know how long we're going to stay on. I prefer when I jump on StreamYard because then it's more clear. I tend to have problems when I hop on this way here. We also do lots of rhymey time because spirit comes through me like Mother Goose, right? Like the goose that got loose. So I connect with the divine and, right, I say I serve, but the creator. So creation, etc. So everything needs to have a balance. Look, it's 11:22 my time here. How about you? Achoo. Bless you. Right? Why do we say bless you when somebody sneeze? Right? The sayings that we all have and carry unconsciously, we just say, right? So the things I work with, metaphysics, is slowing it all down so that we can say, right, the thoughts and the feelings that we're carrying inside that we unconsciously just keep leaking out. I want to just address something too that's actually, it's definitely something very important. Our children, like, which we're all children, right, of God and the Creator, the divine. Most have cut that part off, or they say they, right, have faith or belief, but their belief is in the first seed. And maybe there's a first thought, a second thought, an afterthought, and then some guilt. And then we're in shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? The house that the little pigs built. So when we continue to do the same thing over and over as a being, it's a sickness. I know most people do not want to address this, but it's like very important that the adult children, the adult kids that think they're running around with, right, like coins and making deals and ultimatums and forced domination and tricks. Tricks are for kids. False promises, just speaking out of and not having something to back up that great idea and the thought. It hasn't been fully processed with the emotional and the spiritual body most of the time. We just keep running around the clock, right? And in circles through our minds. And a lot of children are really being affected by this shit, for real. There's like how many are they're feeling anxiety. Everybody's feeling anxiety. Why? So who's causing that sickness, that feeling? That's a sickness. It's disease. The fear, the worry. That's not creating ease. That's not doing our work from within so that we're coming from a more, right, rock steady vibration. Someone just banged on the wall on the other side of me. Just my whole heart just like friggin' jumped. So funny enough too, I do want to share, because it's very important that, right, we go there. Right? How dare us as a people think more about ourselves than the children that, right? Like so many arguments are about like, right, production and right, supply and demand. But if you're spiritually bankrupt and emotionally bankrupt, and you just keep holding out your hand and writing things down and making more deals and pushing paper and, right, a 3D to 2D to 1D, right, staying in the last three lower third chakras, solar plexus, right, the underbelly, under the belly, the gut. And I don't know if anybody's been feeling the digestive system, having some stomach aches, maybe some diarrhea, headaches, migraines, not being able to breathe very well, right? We're in a big atmosphere change and a big change in the systems. And again, this is a birth of the new earth. So what happens when a mother gives birth? We were talking about this the other day in one of my lives. We had a whole, the spirit channel, the whole birthing thing. we went through a whole thing. So we're literally, right, going through the canal. The delta means triangular river mouth, or is like a big D, the D. Just saying the D, right? How many ways can we think what that means? Right, so using our creative intellect and working, right, with spirit, co-creating, coexisting with spirit is super important right now. You have to work with contractions to push out a baby while you're in labor, right? While we are in labor, right? So, and that's what we're in. So the labor that we're in, right, that's work. Time is energy. Energy is time. Time is fluid, yours and mine. Every number carries a vibration. Again, like today's a day 10, right? When we add the 5 for the year, right? We get a 15 then. And then that's why right before I was like 1 and 5, 6. So today's a 6th day if we include the year. but we're in multi-vibrational timelines, my dears. It's like you could change the channel of your radio in your car, whatever you're listening to, or me, YouTube right now, right? Turn the station, change the frequency that you're listening to. Silence is something that most are very uncomfortable with, right? Doesn't it feel nice though when we can come home after work, if you've worked all day, right? Been so busy over and over, Groundhog Day. But when you can get a day off, or you get to take your shoot, right? Do what you really like, and it's like, right? That's connecting with the Dark Mother, the triple Dark Mother goddess, right? Going in, being able to take your shoes off, just be who you are naturally. It's 11:29, 11:11, 11:14 on the clock when we said that. The minutes in. So 11:22. That's where we begin. So there's lots of different, right? Metaphysics is like, right, is physics. So how does physics operate? Everything is in motion. That's the only constant. Most people don't allow more than basic thoughts to their head because they fear, or they feel like they don't have enough time and they have to rush and get something else done instead. We all feel that way, right? So where'd the card go? So right, and this fell out after I titled this Surrender. Surrender, Dorothy. Isn't that hysterical? I wrote above or under the rainbow somewhere. Right, what's the sum above or under? +1 or -1? What color is the US debt clock in? In the red. Surrender, Dorothy. A lot of people still haven't learned how to stay in their lane. They don't really have a license to be out and about in the collective and in the astral plane, where they don't belong, up in other people's intelligence and thoughts and dream fields of dreams, right? All up in the brain, insane in the membrane. So I'm going to read this quickly to start. I can release my need to control, right? And open my heart, right? We got to allow that heart chakra to be open. Again, we're birthing a whole new part of ourselves. This is where we're, right? So this is where learning about also, right, the phoenix, or again, the triple goddess, some other, we're all doing this together. 1333. There's so many different words and terms that we use. You know what's really funny? I got like some, when I woke up this morning, there was it's like a commercial, but it was for a show, and it was hysterical. So I watched it. It was like 20 something minutes long. It was about an auto parts factory company, and the lady had never sold cars and shouldn't even like cars. She didn't even have a license, and she used to work for, I guess, pharma, and so then they were like, so how come you want to come work for, the auto services, what have you? And she's like, because of the money, actually. She's like, and the stocks. And she's like, well, how about something good, positive we could say about, what you like? And she's like, no, I don't. She's like, I don't know anything. And she's like, and she's like, my motto is, right? She goes, if you sell heroin, don't do heroin. Right? It's like, then that's an old term, right? Don't get high off your own supply, whatever it is that you're, right? It's like, and that also goes to the story of Chiron, right? The wounded healer, right? Empaths and others like us, which the other card that's on the bottom of the deck standing out is empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. A lot of beings aren't very aware of the energy that they take from us, empaths, and then they want more and they want to see something with their five senses, and we get all flustered. And this is why there's all these things called mental illnesses that people acronym, right? ADHD, ADD, Asperger's, autism. And if you look into Asperger's and what have you, that the man that that's his last name. I got led down that rabbit hole the other day, which we'll touch base a little bit, maybe, I don't know, but or if you want to check that out, it was like Harlow, Asperger's. They did a lot of studies on a lot of different things that were quite disturbing, but at the same time, right? Power, and sometimes we have to, right, surrender and just, right, let go, breathe through, and like no, we're seeing what we need to, and then we're with spirit and we're being held, right, by our ancestors, by whatever you feel comfortable feeling, right? It could be colors, crystals, right? It could be fairies, gnomes, and elves, right? It's like however you feel, like connecting with your inner child and your imagination and what you're seeing there, right? What's real and what isn't real. How do we produce what's real and manifest what we all see in front of us, right? We have to have an idea. But before we have an idea, we gotta have a feeling. Before we have a feeling, we gotta have, right? There's gotta be like there's the things that come up in and through us in all these different manners and forms. Which comes first? They come in all different ways in multiple variables every night and day, right? It's funny that adults don't understand as much and kids exactly understand what the fuck I say. It's children, star seeds, because they listen with their hearts and with the vibration. And when something doesn't feel good, we're supposed to say so, right? So when somebody 1717 kind of forces us to make a decision or makes us feel like we don't have a choice, that's a lot of pressure. And that's like molestation. And that's fallen ones coming into the daughters of men, into the innocence, and putting pressure upon, right? We can also call that the jinn. Because can you explain it? Can you point out what exactly it is? Or is it a feeling of anxiety that runs through you and me, kids, right? So it's like when that's supernatural stuff, right? Or stuff that's coming through that we're seeing inside and experiencing, but you can't really explain. I mean, I am right now, but right, as far as, but it still doesn't know justice. It's like the other card I pulled, which I'm about to show you too. We got a few, right? This is a little more explainable. Katiaki, Katiaki, Guardian. So this is the card we got for that popped out, and this one was on the bottom. And I saw a rainbow yesterday in the morning, 9 a.m. I have a picture of it. So that was very special, right? Medicine of the rainbow jaguar. It's known. I know I have to research that again, but I researched that a long time ago because that came up to me, the rainbow. And rainbows only appear after the time of noon. So for it to appear at 9 a.m. Was a very interesting sign. And that was, right, this is number 13. A hummingbird. It means something to you. It does to me, and that came out too. It's right on the top of the deck here. 34. Under that is the owl. So let's read Surrender. Surrender, Dorothy. Sorry about the wobble. Work with me. I can release my need to control. So we have to remember to breathe, right? Like labor. We have to be good examples. Y'all remember how to do this. And this is the medicine we need. And this is what we need to write: puff, puff, pass. However it may be. Allow it to come to you fluidly, right? Time is fluid, right? We all in the sack, the ball sack, right? The womb, the tomb, way under the sea. We going way down under, which under over again, right? Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. How do you travel time? Think of how does a dolphin swim? In a line? No. Don't they jump out of the water and then back in, over the surface and then back under, over the surface and back under and through? And they play all day. And they actually really love to trip. They like to trip out too. So it's big time coming up, Atlantis. It's like teenage rambunctious dolphins swimming through. They like to chew on puffer fish, and like they play like rugby too. So they pass it back after they chew a little bit, and then they're like, it's like the mushrooms for them. And so then they trip out, and then they're like, rah, and they're all. I thought that was quite hysterical when I heard that story. When I heard that. So, right, we're not the only animal that likes to get fucked up as a people, right? We ain't perfect. The important part is that we acknowledge that. We let go of our need to control. We take a look at, right, what we're holding so tight onto, and then we breathe and fucking let go. And it's really hard. It's really, 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 really fucking hard to do, you know? But there's a lot of us here that are going through it, have gone through it, and are here to help, right? You, right? That's why we're here, but not to be taken advantage of, not to be lied about, not to be used like a plug to be plugged into, right? Like a 24/7, 11 Slurpee drink. Everybody got their fucking straw plugged in. Everybody wants to sip. The blood, the wine, what you think, right? What's the rib? What does that mean? When we brush by so quick, we miss many things. And Zeus with in his leg, or Demeter put something in her leg that keep coming up too. Okay, so surrender. I can release my need to control. You need to understand the distinction between power and control. It's not working with me, so let go of the control. I'm gonna let go. I'm not gonna keep trying to make it perfect. It's like that's how it's gonna want to be. That's it. Leave it alone. All right, you have the power of internal control, but very little external control over people or situations, right? But we can feel the need to hold on. Why? Because we're afraid we're going to lose people we love. We don't want to be second. We don't want somebody to pick somebody else. We don't want right? So I can relate with those feelings. What I can't relate with is setting other people up, or like hanging around, like doing things in order to gain some kind of, and then be like a fucking Pinocchio fat liar, and somebody like, like, have I ever before in my past? Yeah, like with my parents, and we've grown, and like, this is why we can relate to all these things, right? I've had an absolutely imperfect life, which is why I can relate to so many, right, monstrosities or feelings of not being good enough, not being accepted, not feeling accepted, not feeling good enough. Say, the words are different when we say not being and not feeling. When we acknowledge the truth, we say, I wasn't feeling good enough. I was feeling less than, right? Over or under. acted in a negative manner due to the fact that I was feeling not heard. My needs were not being met. And our needs are not being met mentally and emotionally and spiritually. What happens? The mind and the body, right? And then the physical body go looking for something to fill that void, whether it be food, sex, drugs, alcohol, control, right? The feeling, the false feeling of control and power because we felt less than, but we didn't, right, know how to deal with that feeling. See, that's the pinpoint. Where did it stem from? Where did it originate from? We go down all the way to the roots, the origin. We don't allow the jinn to take control on the surface and turn a spirit into a ghoul, right? Alcohol, algol, the blinking demon star. Which again, it's not right. Say bad, good, whatever, da da da. Like I just talked about the dolphins. It's having awareness of the skin we're in and what we're doing beneath the remains of it. What's going on underneath the surface. And it's very difficult to like slow down and give ourselves permission that we're worth that. But aren't we worth that? What's in your bank account? What's in your spiritual bank account? What's in your emotional closet stuffed in there? Do you have awareness of your natal chart? That's like your mariner's chart, right? Your Viking father of the sea. That asteroid Nereus means old man of the sea. I want to share something with you. Look, this is written a long time ago. Made me almost cry. I didn't even know. I was like, oh wow, I should probably like, look. They weren't believing. Believe. We got so sad. And the elite, fuck them. I mean, you know, UFO files, whatever. You know, trying to revert, yeah. Building wall. This is so long ago. This is like 2016. I was trying to get information. There's not even lines left on the paper. I'm not going to share all that. Anyway, but point being was they weren't believing. Believe. We got so sad. That's ancestors, extraterrestrials, the star beings talking to you, which is what I was just getting into. The mariners follow the map of the stars. They look up from the ocean, right? Above. If you're under the water, different. In a submarine, right? We all live in a yellow submarine. And, right, Omicron. I got a big download yesterday with Micronesia, Melanesia, Australia, Polynesia. There's a little triangle there, like New Zealand. To the upper left of the Polynesia, above in Melanesia, I believe, or to the right is the Solomon Islands, which that keeps coming up. I think that might over above as a buzz so below be where Pleiades and the Lagoon Nebula, where I had come up the other day too. Right, so mariners go by the star system, by the stars to find their way, right? Again, time is fluid, right? Time is energy. So Micronesia, that also is Oceania, right? Down under. So if there's a reflection of something, right? over under, or like our eye. How does our physical eyes see? How does our brain make that work for you and me? And then what about the first eyes that we have before we breathed air, when we were in utero, even as a crescent moon, a little beam. So lots of others altering and playing with things, which again, the question is, would you like that done to you? Right? All I have to do is ask for the truth, and then ask for peace and clarity, and ask what you need to be able to see. And then take that time to do so. Close your eyes when you're in a safe place to do so, and breathe. Breathe your way through. In through your nose, out through the mouth, right? And male, this is like a lot of atoms. This is how long do you think women have had to, why do women have to rely on either a government or others to help, or et cetera, et cetera? How many children have been born into this world? How many promises are broken? How many, okay, how many, and then how many need coddling? How many need the ego path? How much time? Okay, all right, how much more? All right, So, friend said something yesterday, very, 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 very also, right, he's like, I guess so I've been drinking wine the whole time instead of water. And yeah, it's like, well, duh. I've mentioned in many videos that I've done, right, I'm not duh.